Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hindsight Podcast. Always great to be back. And when I say back this time, I mean because I've been across the country and back. Went for the CAF Champions League, the CAF Confederations Cup final in the city of Uyo, which is really good because I killed two birds with one stone. Saw the mom, the family, everybody's looking good. So I just had to put that out there because there's always a genuine reason why I missed the podcast, right? I just realized that
you be in his element.
No, I just realized I realized that
genuine
reason always.
They throw us under the bus now. If this was missed, don't say now we're in the big.
If I'm not playing producer, I'm doing some official business with the embassy, right? But before I introduce everybody, right? I had the time during the holidays because it was away for 5 days to watch back the podcast, the intros and everything like that. And I realized that every time I'm doing an intro, I'm looking at the camera half the time and I'm looking back at my computer screen. And it hit me that someone actually sent me a message and says, they like the intros, right? Real story. And it made me go back and watch the intros and see what can be better in the intros. And I realized that I'm doing this and I'm doing this, right? And that made me think, a lot of people might think I read my intros because I actually don't read the intros. I just find that because it's a podcast type thing, I rather look at the guys when I'm doing the intro. I like to, look at the camera, get the feel of what the guys, their body language and whatnot, in case somebody's giving me the eye. But on that note, it's good to have the man who's wearing the Trivago jersey back. FX, good to have you here, really. Because we work on radio together on Stoppage Time NG. Shout out to the team, Marty and Brownish. Season is done. We are momentarily jobless, right?
Yeah.
Right? Good to be here.
Same here, brother. Always a pleasure to be on Hindsight Podcast. You guys,
Kunle, producer's trying to call you. Drop the phone.
You guys are amazing. Kunle, drop your phone.
But it's a podcast.
FX is talking.
Yeah, but if why is that computer there for
all your reactions when you're
Right. So this is how the creative work actually goes around. Can this computer leave this please? So, Wale, how did this computer stay here?
But leave it there now.
But why do you keep it to computer? Like,
sorry. Like say this
you're dropping the standards of this production, and I don't find that.
Standards of what?
But no, FX, good to be back on the podcast. Good to have you back.
Go drop that laptop first.
Ini, the real thing about you coming today is that I watched the last episode, right? I was at home and I totally enjoyed it. But I realized that you started opening one button on your like, when you came to Lagos, like what's happening? Like, oh my,
step forward, Gareth Ainsworth. Step forward, Jeff Sterling.
Jeff Sterling, that's a good one. Jeff Sterling. That guy's an Igbo man in white man's body, man.
Great to be on the podcast. Always a pleasure. And last week I was talking, you were not here, and I asked a question about, is there anybody who comes here without the intention of, looking good? You want to sit in front of the camera and look good. Sometimes I take days racking my head. What am I wearing on the podcast? Because the pictures come out really good, and good to be here.
We're shooting what 4K, producer? 6K actually, right?
6K.
The only problem with that is that we need data. We need data to upload, and we need. And we need time to, copy out. So sometimes we have to dumb the quality down. But trust me, if you see the work that goes on behind, producers, crawling on the floor and all that stuff, not bad at all, right? Luckily, good to have you back here. Because 2 weeks ago, we said, look, you're the most consistent guy on the podcast, and maybe at the end, we give you a small plaque. What if we should do that, right? We should do that, right?
I'm looking for
good reactions.
my emotions this time around.
Exactly. What I need is money. I don't want headies. I need real money.
So 11 nominations for you this time, right? 11 nominations.
If each nomination they come with money. Right. Good. I think we need to audit UB. You need to audit UB. Get one of these top, audit firms, because we've been talking about you coming on this table and dropping name of brands. Just be dropping it anyhow. Introduce FX now. You don't drop another one. And then look UB. UB the pocket money. Because that's why you go to slide them in.
Hey. That job, what would you forget? I never would write where my money. Real story, man. We did a job for Gary Neville's company, right? Of course, through back channels. This man pocketed pounds, right? But can we turn the AC on, please? No, it's good to be here. I feel like a lot of times I watch the intros. Someone said, can you guys fast forward the intro and get to the main conversation?
Yeah, I saw that.
And for a second, it hit me that a lot of people are more passionate about football than I am.
Aside from that, it's almost like I think maybe sometimes people don't think, deeply before they criticize. Because check it. There's a timestamp. You can easily forward yourself away from the intro and go to where the football commercial starts. So now, you are now in your head, you are thinking it is easier for us to stop something that we enjoy. So that you can just, as hindsight pod video just start, bah! You just say, Mbappe, and bro.
That's why you always have feedback. That's why you have
fast
comments.
Forward the
People
thing,
always
bro.
talk now.
Fast forward the thing.
And that's pretty simple, actually.
Actually, I tell you what. Making the podcast for a year and a half now, it made me realize just how diverse we all are. I mean, of course, I'm always knowing this, but you sometimes you're reminded every time you see a comment, right? Some people actually don't try to. They don't mean to throw under the bus, but their first statement is, "You guys are saying shit." I'm like,
one guy said, as much as you guys think you are making sense, I think you are not.
I think you're not, right?
They're savage with you guys. On my own podcast at the Sport with FX is not like that.
It's not.
I think they're still gentle guys.
Like say, you never pull on their cord. You never pull on their cord.
Not just yet.
Right. But look, FX does a great podcast as well.
Bless.
The Sports with FX. It's funny because that's actually a very ingenious name because we used to hang out at sports in phase 1, and I'm sure the guys must be envious of that. Look, you didn't talk to us for the rights
I
for
have
that.
to take permission though.
Right,
I have to
you
take
did,
permission.
yeah?
Yeah, that guys, I'm about to create a podcast and I'm going to call it At the Sport with FX. So guys, I beg you.
Right,
I'll
right.
from anyway. Go for it.
You had Ladipo on.
Yeah, Ladipo came on episode 19.
He's a Liverpool fan.
Episode 20.
Yeah,
he's a
Liverpool fan. Yeah, Liverpool fan. Yeah. I did a show with Paul. I think about a year ago. I think it was on Super Sports, right?
Yeah, I saw that with the board and all.
Paul, a great guy. Yeah, obviously I know him from connections with FX, right? I saw a tweet. Someone saw his girlfriend kissing another guy, in the video, and he met the girlfriend. Said, "What happened?" He said, "It's an old video." But the old video said Bugatti plays that video.
The song is living rent free in my head. Mad song.
The old video. He said, that's from last year. That's from last year. I was.
The only thing that doesn't lie is numbers, though.
Incredible.
No, numbers don't lie, but
I break fast.
What right?
You're on a roll.
Last. Right. I was hanging out with a couple, right? And it's a very good friends of mine. And they might figure it out. And I was singing, I kept singing last, right? Last. Everybody go try to break fast, and the girl wasn't having it. The girl every time I start the song, the girl's mood just changed. Right? I was like, so I didn't figure it out because we're all having a good time. But every time I say you don't cast, I was thinking the girl just that person. I'm like, okay. So I realized that I think more guys might like that song than ladies.
I tell you what, a few years ago I was emceeing a wedding in Rio, and the DJ plays, even your boo get a boo. The bride stands up. The bride stands up, walks. She was wearing a long gown. She went straight to the DJ and screamed at him. He said, "If you play that song again, I'll walk you out of this place." I've not seen anything like that. Some things just rub off on people the wrong way.
It's their wedding, man.
Some people are not mentally that tough to be able to accept things like that. Oh, it's just a song.
I understand you're being nice.
But but that's actually true. Because that thing where they say that funny joke everybody says that, you see that relationship where they try to protect. You don't spoil you.
You don't spoil. You don't spoil.
Honestly, if you look at it, what it's gonna be ultimately would be, right?
Exactly.
No,
I think what is going to be is going to be, but also and this was something I wanted to say. So I saw this. This was a tweet too, and the person was like, it's funny how we create these socially acceptable statements just to justify some of our excesses or some of the things that we do that we know they are wrong. So it's like, like the song, of course I fucked up. Who never fucked up? So it's like these things are very acceptable, very common with the young people, but we use these things to justify
irresponsibilities.
Look, whether you like it or not, this thing where you do, say the thing that we be is supposed to be, but you have to also put necessary effort.
There's that. I was speaking to a baby in the DMs, and she was like, I said the same thing. I said, what's going to be is going to be. And she said, okay.
This one is not serious.
This one is serious. But truth be told, though, no, you still have to add some efforts, right? I didn't see Wale speak to Rufai about the cap. Every time somebody wears a cap on the podcast, Wale gets in his feelings. So I'm surprised that,
Wale knows now. The swag is different. So,
right.
It's different. It's not...
I like the bucket hats. Don't speak about the guys who
definitely not
who make it, because it's fun. I tell you, this is the last story I promise for that guy who leaves a comment and said get to the football. We'll get to it in a bit, right? I asked FX about the bucket hat because I saw it about a month ago on the show. And it was maybe 2 weeks before I did the dreads, right? And I wanted to buy a couple, so I do the dreads, then. Friend of mine who I pick his stuff randomly. I go to his house. I don't see when they say I pick it up, right? So I took one of his bucket hats and I wore it, and it didn't fit anymore. So I was like, so person don't do dress. I know if we wear bucket hats again. So I went to my sister gave me a hack. She said, just put your hair backwards and wear it. Everything fits in. So it's nice to see that.
But nice dreads too, by the way, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it.
How did your mom react?
My mom is on dreads too. I put a video of
no problem.
We know ourselves.
No worries there at all. But speaking of Twitter, down to maybe more serious stuff. You know how all these international broadcast companies put up a video and they say the video is not acceptable in your location.
Yeah.
Right?
Very annoying.
So I was trying to make the podcast, and I was going through a couple of contents, and I saw somebody tweet said, look, all of a sudden, the Patrick Vieira video kicking a guy is available in my location, right? And for a second, I'm like, okay, that's actually true. The stuff you want me to see by force. I don't have to pay for it, right? It doesn't matter if I'm in Africa or if I'm in Nigeria or somewhere in Mushing. I must see that because I think because the black guy, right? To buttress that, another guy put up another tweet and said, come on now, it's just a probably coincidence. And that guy put up another thing and said, look, for context, right, this was posted 8 hours ago. So for those who have been crying, they posted another video and it was restricted.
Yep.
Right? And I'm like,
I think it's the algorithm.
That's not fair, though.
It's
I think it's the. I'm not a Twitter guru, but I think it's the person who tweets it that gives the proprietary, it's like
access.
So like if I open Google Docs, we're trying to make a document of all of us have to see. If I don't open it up, nobody can see it. No?
Sees it, okay.
Yeah, there's probably templates already, because I don't think you can do that on every video. Say, okay, this one I was posting, we can't allow access in some regions. This one we can allow access. So I think maybe there's like a plug and play system already.
Right.
Once we post this kind of content, the system already knows it can go here, it can't go here, or something like that. Probably.
Yeah.
There's
System must be.
They use Twitter for advertisers. So Twitter for advertisers, you can pick locations for.
It's funny because nobody's gonna hear that, but we asked the producer to get a mic and wear it in case he wants to make an input, and for some reason,
the producer is unknown. I don't talk.
Wale know the hear word.
If Elon Musk buys Twitter, maybe things might change.
Right. We probably have spent 10 minutes speaking about something that is not football. That guy must be seething, right? Must be seething. So
Drink some water.
Gentlemen, I watched the podcast back when you're not on the pod. I watch as a fan because it's what it is, great conversations. And I saw you guys lightly touch on Kylian Mbappe's move to PSG, rather staying at PSG. It feels like a move,
That's right.
And I want to speak about player power. I don't know if you agree, but look. So I came across the footage from the World Economic Forum. I think FIFA, a couple of FIFA guys were on it. I think it was Ronald de Lima on it. There was Infantino, where incidentally, Arsene Wenger speaks about player power and how sometimes he had to deal with that. So here's my opinion on Kylian Mbappe, right? First of all, I have no problem with the money the kid is gonna make, right? I'm happy a black guy, is putting money in the bag. That's something you don't see too often in the in the real world. But I think the player Kylian has not stayed at PSG for. I don't think he has stayed at PSG for the money. Because let's be frank, anywhere he went, the money would have been really good.
Same thing.
Money would have been really good. I can guarantee you that. I think the player has stayed at PSG for control, right? And depending on how you view, on what spectrum you're on, you might see this differently. I think players stay for control. I think the player, Kylian, has a history of jumping the line, right? And seeking, more control than maybe his talent should, or maybe as a football player must have. On the flip side, I think Madrid are very lucky. Maybe not lucky, right? Not to have the player. Because when you consider that Madrid are in transition at the moment, and the quality of players, young players they brought in, you risk upsetting that entire project by bringing a player like that now unnecessarily dominates the rest of the players. I think that at Madrid, Camavinga, I've seen a story before we came on that Tchouaméni most likely is ending up at Real Madrid. 80 million.
I don't know how they plan to make that work, but
Yeah, 80 million euros. If essentially the future of French midfield, is in Madrid, right?
Yeah.
But I think that they've dodged the bullet, in my opinion, in getting Kylian Mbappe. I'll tell you why, right? When you have that core of young players who have just in this season realized the scale of the task they have to deal with to play for Madrid on those cold Champions League nights when the crowd utter against you and what you have to dig in and find to show that you're a Madrid player. I think that not having Kylian Mbappe in that team, they're better for it at this stage of their evolution. Camavinga, for example, right? Rodrigo, all those players are there. You need players in the team that have personality. And a lot of times people think about personality and they say, oh, strong personality only shows when you speak in the dressing room or when, when you see Zlatan speak. That's strong personality, or how you handle the media. But a lot of times personality comes from your ability to make the right choice on the pitch. So let's picture a hypothetical situation where Kylian Mbappe is signed. And if you sign him, that means you afford him the kind of power that he wants, or which he has at PSG now. If Camavinga holds the ball in the midfield and sees a better pass option than Mbappe on a big Champions League night, and because of how Mbappe has come in, with the kind of fanfare he has come in with, if Camavinga could decide, if he doesn't have the personality of, I think that this is what I should do, the right thing. I need to pass the ball to Kylian all the time, which is what we've seen happen in football so many times, where players make the right runs, another player who's not as good the bigger player makes the wrong run, or the lesser player makes the right run. And because you know everything that's coming with, you make that pass. I think that it takes personality to make the right choices on the pitch. That's also an iteration of having a strong personality. I think that for those young players that they have, Real Madrid have at the moment, with Tchouaméni coming in, Mbappe having that kind of power could easily upset all of that. Now, you could easily say that every player at Real Madrid should have a strong enough personality to hold their own. But let's not forget,
It's not that easy.
it's not that easy. When a big player comes in, backed by the club, with everything you've read in the media, you can tell that he has more power than you already, right? So let's keep that.
£1 million a week.
So let's keep that, right? I think that you now go to the Benzema situation, who has just been crowned king, will be crowned king at the end of the year as the Ballon d'Or player. I think it's undisputed. Whether he wins Champions League or not, Benzema will be Ballon d'Or player. You go back to the France scenario in the Euros, where Mbappe had a problem with Giroud in the dressing room, and this is something you can check on social media, on Google. It's there. Mbappe, I think he even apologized for his place in the whole fracas thing. So there's a history with the player having the need to pull his weight maybe too much. In the senior national team, young players know their place, right? Of course, we're all equals as professionals, but it is an unwritten law. You know where not to step on. We've seen Mbappe pull his weight maybe too often. And King Karim at PSG has just been crowned king at Real Madrid since Ronaldo left, and will be crowned king of the world, at Ballon d'Or player. How does that part also affect, both players? I think that whilst Real Madrid might hurt from the turmoil of him staying at PSG, for the moments they're in, I think they dodged a bullet. That's that's something I haven't seen, many people speak about. And even with Liverpool, I saw a story that Liverpool also spoke to the guy.
No, he was never going to go to Liverpool.
No, if it ever happened, it would have been a disaster, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they dodged. I agree that they dodged a bullet, but I don't even think Madrid should. I don't even think Madrid should hurt that much.
Also,
Because
just before you go on, Real Madrid built an institution that is adverse to anybody being bigger than the football club.
Yeah.
so
Right?
I think
Yeah.
that's
Ronaldo is not happy. Call a
That's
taxi.
definitely-
Let him
Get
out.
him out.
That's
Yeah.
definitely why. That's definitely why Mbappe. Is
So
not
how
at-
would that have
That's
worked?
definitely why Mbappe is not at Madrid. He was
In my
never.
opinion, that's
he was
why.
never going to have that kind of power. Never. Florentino Perez is still the president. He's never going to give you that kind of power. The kind of power
The
that is
fans
being
would never give
reported
that kind of power.
that he's been given at PSG.
I think it's
I want to understand
Now,
this power.
No. Florentino
Yeah.
Perez was never going to give you that power to Kylian. Never. You're going to have a say in deciding who the sporting director is, who the coach is, and the other players that we get to sign. He was never going to get that power from Florentino Perez. Never going to happen.
So let's even clear that up. I think that this is my understanding, and I might be wrong, that when you read the details of the contracts or the supposed details of the contract and say, we're going to have a say in this and this and this and this and this, people say, oh, I am one of the people that think it cannot be that literal.
Exactly.
What I think, however, is that I've seen the word sporting project used a lot. I think that there will be at least, we are trying to fire this guy. What do you think? I don't think.
No.
I don't think the box stops at his table. But that's an incredible
Yes.
amount of
Yes,
leeway.
I think
Yes.
when you
I
give
think
a
that's what it
player,
is.
And as the first evidence of that, Leonardo is gone.
when
Fired.
you give a player, when
First
I'm
evidence
telling
of that,
you, when
yeah.
you give a player, whether or not it is, what do you think? That's
That's
not-
incredible power.
That's incredible power.
Just-
That's not.
I wanted to say. I mean, you guys know
Do
that. Messi
you want
had it too as well.
to finish something up?
Yeah.
Go on.
So that even if it's just what do you think? That's at the end of the day, that's a 23-year-old who, outside of being a phenomenal footballer, probably doesn't really even understand how to handle his own emotions completely. Outside of being a solid footballer, he's still a kid. He's 23 or 22. So
23.
when you give him that kind of power to him, you have no evidence to suggest that he has a temperament to handle that kind of power. So which for me is, and I was going to also say maybe he stayed at PSG to have that, control and all that, but I also think there's a lot of, because with this kind of deals, I always believe like there's so many things that we don't know. There's so many things that never ever going to tell us. So I think there's a bit of, I'm going to have some. It still boils down to control, but I think it goes beyond just the PSG team. I think there's probably a bit of, I'm going to have a better political stand. Also, because you're hearing the France president called him, this called him. So it's almost like
At the behest of
the club,
the PSG organization.
So
Right.
it's feeling like even politically in the society, I'm going to have a bit more influence. I'm going to have a bit more connection with people. Do you get what I mean? So I think it goes beyond having control in the PSG team.
But that's also I like the way Swimper pronounced it, Emmanuel Macron. Right. But that's also from Macron's perspective. I'll call it Macron. Please just let's not stress myself, right? I even think that for Macron, you would have thought that also builds big political capital as well.
it's
if
fine.
I'm on the side of history that also convinced Kylian to stay at PSG.
From Macron's perspective,
that's
it's not a bad thing to call him.
That-
Say you are a guy, stay in France. That's fine. The problem is from the PSG side of things.
So I'll just read some Wenger quotes from the World Economic Forum. He said, when you have a special player in the team, you have to treat them a little bit specially, right? But without giving him too much power. The player has to understand and there is a level to which you are not willing to compromise anymore. Says people are like that. This is as Wenger saying. Says people are like that. When they are at the top, they want power, right? And I think all of us can be testament to that. Wenger says, at some stage, you have to fight against it. In some moments of my career, now he's speaking to himself, said, I had to put my job on the line by leaving the best player out because he was too strong, too demanding, and then you have to not compromise and put the interest of the club above all.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that I haven't always agreed with Arsene Wenger since he retired from football. Since he went upstairs, I think he's been saying a lot of things to earn his money. And I don't have a problem with that. But this, absolutely spot on.
Made a lot of sense. I think also what's happened to Kylian is it's almost like a carbon copy of what's ensued at Barcelona with Messi. We all know for many years Messi was involved in decision making in Barcelona in terms of who the incoming president was going to be, the kind of players they want to sign and whatnot. But we saw how Barcelona blew it in the transfer window over the past 3 seasons. So yes, it's only maybe Messi in recent times that we've heard that. Yes, in terms of in the Chelsea dressing room, many years ago, it was Cech, Lampard, Terry, and Didier Drogba.
Yeah, even those ones, I don't think they had a say in this is who we're signing.
Exactly. But I think that's the player power that we're all mentioning, and it only ends in the dressing room, and I think that's where it should end in terms of that. But when you now go upstairs, I think that's where PSG goofed. They shouldn't have presented that to Kylian. That's because they didn't want to lose him. I don't think Kylian was the one that said that...
Obviously, we're giving him different
things.
But they were just
throwing different things. Because we do know he's a very arrogant guy. I mean, you mentioned the whole thing with...
Yeah, I mean, for that talent level, you might need a bit of arrogance.
We've seen that even in their loss at the Euros too, that arrogance is there. And of course, with time, we've also known that he's the heir. He's the heir to the throne, more or less. And it's between him and who, really? Some say Haaland, but Haaland is still young. Kylian has been there for 5 years. Kunle, Ini, come on. The guy definitely is attracting everybody now. So yes, President will call him. Everybody will call him now. But most important thing is I'm really happy that Real Madrid was given a taste of their own medicine. Because, they've been ruling Europe for so long. At some point, PSG needed to stamp. That's what their president said too, that La Liga is in the dip and French league is coming up. So what is wrong with PSG? Showing a bit of muscle.
Interestingly, FX makes some very good point. I just have to before you go on. First of all, I think that player power has a place in the game.
Yeah, of course.
Right. I think that what Wenger says is very critical. Human beings are naturally creatures of habits, and as a result, there are things that are consistent across board.
Yeah.
Right. When you are talented and valuable at the place, ultimately that comes with a bit of power. People pander to you a little bit. I've seen this real time. You happen. But I think what FX said is very important. It's a great analysis actually. That you have to share the power across board, right? So go back to the Chelsea team, right? Didier, you get Essien, Lampard, John Terry, right? I think that is at that time, the players shared the power with the manager. So of course, Jose at the time had ultimate power, but the players also split the power amongst themselves. So there was no point in time where one person entirely controlled
everything,
the dressing room. So I mean, if Didier and Lampard were on the same, team, on the same side for an argument, clearly it's not possible that John Terry, Essien, and other people would Cech will be on the same. So I think it's important to
You see, it's a very dangerous precedent because.
But when you take it upstairs,
I don't think you can. It's almost like you have 11 players in a team every Saturday or every weekend. You're supposed to pick your starting 11 for the game, and then you hand the power to probably select that team to one of those players. He has to be Jesus Christ for him not to select himself first every day, every Saturday. Do you understand what I mean? So the way I see it is like, and Drogba mentioned when the Champions League Chelsea won in 2012, the manager was fired, and it was obvious that a lot of the players didn't agree with the manager, AVB at the time. Lampard, I think Drogba, a couple of players, they agree with the manager. And the manager left. I think when Ashley Cole. And the manager left.
It was 3 of them, yeah. Ashley Cole, Lampard.
When the manager left, Drogba said they had a meeting and they had an honest conversation to acknowledge the fact that we all had a role to play in the sacking of this guy. Because maybe you had a disagreement with him. Maybe you down tools, or for whatever reason, we all had a role to play. And from this moment forward, we're all going to drop our egos and we're going to fight for everything that is left this season. That cannot happen if the power is with just one person.
One person, yeah.
Yeah, you know what, you guys.
If a few years ago, Paul Merson went on that tirade, remember, where he called out the Leicester players.
It's not on a few, I don't remember the particular one.
He called it.
Plenty.
He tore into the Leicester players for being cowards, stabbing Claudio Ranieri on the back.
Yeah.
Going to Vardy was part of it, went to the owner then and said, we didn't want this guy anymore in the job. And it set a very dangerous precedent because over time you've seen players do that. Because I do not understand why players should be involved in running the football club. You pay players to play for the club. Players should not be telling you what manager you play for. You just like, I've said it many times, we work at different companies. You can't come to the work and say, I'm not going to be on this show today because I don't like UB. It is irresponsibility of the highest order.
It's like a thread I saw. Thread I saw. The thread started from a particular, conversation. I'm not going to mention the topic, but what the essence is that responsibility and lack of submission cannot play together. What the person is trying to say is, if I'm responsible for you, I can be responsible for you only because I have a bit of authority over you. It's like where you work.
Facts.
Right? The people who pay me have some sort of authority over me because they're responsible for what they give me. Right? If we are now in a place where they pay me, they're responsible for me. So they make sure that they take care of me, they do everything, but they still don't have any sort of authority over me. What exactly is the gain of how much responsibility because whether you like it or not, they've let their freedom go by being responsible for me.
It's more or less sometimes when you're in back in the day when you're in a fight, or even nowadays when you're in an argument, right? And your guy walks up to you and says, "Shall I not follow you talk, me?"
Exactly.
So
like, say I cannot speak to you.
You get
like
Can't you listen to me?
I don't speak to you. Will you listen to me?
You get the person went as far. The person went as far. You get the person went as far as he made a couple examples. Say, look, your parents are responsible for you. They have authority over you. Your bosses are responsible for you. They have authority over you. It's quid pro quo. You cannot be in a position where you collect so much money from these people. They take care of your well-being. They give you this. They give you this crazy contracts and all these things, but you're still the king. They don't have any sort of,
go ahead.
So players have incredible power, so much power that you look around the team and you hear things like, I've never understood why they say they're not playing for the manager. I've always thought it's absolute BS. I think it's rubbish. Because you get paid to play for the club, not to play for the manager.
Every time they ask players, every time they ask managers in the press conference, do you think the players are playing for you? The managers know that some players are not playing for them, but what they rebuff with is, why would the player have to play for me?
Exactly. So when you give people like Mbappe this kind of authority, I think you disrupt a team.
Power, no authority. Power.
Because football is a team sport. And you hear things like, it's a cliche, you hear things like, we're playing for each other. And playing for each other, in my opinion, is, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
You are doing your job. If everybody in the team do their jobs, the team, in the end, will be very successful because we're all responsible. That's why you hear, we're playing for each other.
Yeah.
When players start to have this mindset of, there's a preference, that guy can have access.
Sure, he gets a lot more than I do.
Can have access to the club, can have access to the chairman, can walk into the chairman's office in and out, gets everything he wants. You disrupt the team.
And tell me how this affects PSG's incomings transfers. Because if I'm a top player, if I'm a top player, right? Let's say if I'm Verratti, let's talk about the people that are there.
I have one question too.
If I'm Verratti, right, with my talents easily, you can put anybody beside Verratti as far as talent goes, midfielders in the world. Like, why the fuck are you so powerful?
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you have to be
and
that influential
question
when
I was having
in the end, you need me
Absolutely.
and the rest of us?
To give you that final pass.
You
So
know,
what if? Sorry,
it's
Kunle,
exactly-
what if? That's what I was telling some guy on Twitter as well. I was like, okay, now everything is done. Your teammates are going to start looking at you funny, no doubt. If you don't pass, because Kylian can be selfish. He's a number 9.
Yeah.
So he's an attacker anyway. How would they look at you when that selfishness kicks in eventually? You're going to disrupt that
this
dressing
all
room.
works when you're
There'll
winning.
be jealousy.
This works when you're winning.
There'll
Yeah.
be jealousy
It
for
works-
sure.
It works when you're winning.
So you see,
Exactly.
PSG. I'm looking for the best way to describe the circus, the institution that they are, because, like you said, we're talking Verratti. He's there already, but you're talking about a team that's been looking to win the Champions League. You want to bring in players, and whether you like it or not, there are players that you want to bring. If you want to bring in real quality players who have character or experience, these are players that come. They don't care who the players you have in the team. They don't care who they are.
Yep.
They come in. Imagine it, for example, imagine this current PSG side, after this Mbappe thing, you bring in Ibrahimovic again. Imagine that. Imagine you bring in someone like Balotelli into this team.
Yeah,
So
see, you know what C4 is.
you get
You are putting C4 and
C4
carbide.
and plus plus Ogogoro. You understand? So boom, the kind of players you want to bring in, because I believe,
TNT.
because let's not forget again, Mbappe is 22 or 23. So you want to bring in players that are players in Europe. And when you bring in those players or you're trying to negotiate and are looking at you, they're saying, okay, Kylian has this kind of power. Well, if you can't give me that same kind of power, you have to give me something close, maybe in monetary terms. Because I'm not going to come to that team and be a boy to that boy.
That boy.
If I'm going to be a boy to that boy, then my bank account must be smiling
You
for
get
it.
Yeah.
that
So I don't
boy.
mind.
And we're no financial experts here, so we're not even going to try and go into the details of the losses. But I mean, just off the top of my head, I've seen a couple of articles. PSG have made losses for the last 3 years, and of course, financial fair play is on hold now. It's on hold now until the start of the 2023 season, right? So, I mean, but in the end, right, at this moment, they're on losses of, I think, 350.
Is it
Thereabout.
not 700?
And they've already breached financial fair play twice.
And they still want to buy more players.
And they still want to buy more players. And they've now given this guy. So I don't even. I mean, I'm no financial. I'm no New York Times expert. But I can already tell that they will make another loss this year again because
Standard.
you haven't won the Champions League, right? And the Ligue 1, if I know, doesn't pay more than the MPFL like that. Right?
You
So he's
what this
if
guy-
he go now small thing. Now small thing go
You don't
separate.
forget the dollar and like 600.
Farmers League. Then you throw
Now small thing, I go separate. Egyptian League and
That one I agree.
and Ligue 1. I tell you, straight up, right?
Egyptian league.
But
I'm on the side
Moroccan
players for
league.
Ligue 1 and
yeah.
I actually the side player for 1.something million
get-
dollars now. So
Definitely.
I would like
Ligue 1
to
and
see.
Egyptian
I would
league.
like to see the figure that they give out.
Too far.
Too far.
Small thing, right? So I mean, I want us to touch on player power.
I still
a
don't
bit.
believe they're giving Mbappe all these things, Shaq. Because
look,
because
that's
when the
my-
news broke, the first thing I said on Sunday I was playing football. We were talking, and I was like, I want the noise to die down first, and let's start seeing what the reputable platforms are reporting. But the problem is, I'm beginning to actually see some of the reputable platforms actually posting that yes, he's going to have a say in who the sporting director is, who the manager is, the kind of players that they
This
bring
whole
in.
deal
You
is bad for
talk about
first of all-
Leonardo.
It's bad for football, man.
Leonardo is
Leonardo's already gone.
It's bad for Ligue 1,
And I'm
actually,
see-
I think.
no, he's already gone. And I'm seeing a story. So in thinking about the work we had to do today, I thought about naturally with all of us here. I do that a lot. I think about the possible antithesis to any thesis you do, right? So people, I mean, I was thinking about how about Michael Jordan and the power Michael Jordan had at the Bulls, right, back in the day? You know, Jordan held real power,
But
right?
Team player.
I don't
You
think
know,
it was.
but-
It was.
Was a team player.
But team player, and I always say that whilst basketball is a team sport, football is the truest team sport in the world. Is the truest form of team sports in the world. I'll tell you why. You know the basketball game, right? You can see KD can decide, you know what, I'm playing offense only today. And this offense why they play today, that's it. Right? And everybody that gets to him, he won't necessarily, double team anybody and all that kind of stuff. Get the ball to me. Mine is to make, eliminate people. In football, I've not seen a team in the world that can carry more than 2 bypassers. More than one.
More than one, actually.
And that player,
You can't carry more than one.
you most likely lose the match.
That one
you
which
most
they carry
likely lose the match.
Yeah.
Which is what has been the problem of United in this season.
If you
have one bystander, you're in
if you have
trouble.
one bypasser, if they're not named Messi
except if you have
or
one-
Ronaldo,
except-
They're
Yeah.
going to be open.
Except if you have one bystander, you now have the remaining. You get like 2-3 Kantes.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
With the part of the
and we have seen
remaining.
that that's not possible.
Engine did
Yeah,
You
6
get-
longs.
It's not possible, right? So I thought about Michael Jordan. I said, look, the counter argument to this is that, how about Michael Jordan, held all this much power. But I remember Michael Jordan, I watched the Netflix interview, documentary, one of the greatest documentaries I've seen. That at the time, Jordan, one of his biggest problems and assets at the same time was demanding more from people that he knew had real talent.
Yep.
So, for example, Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie, for all intents and purposes, if you read what the papers say, maybe as talented as Jordan, right? Or maybe even more talented than Jordan, but shied under the spotlight or under the shadow of Jordan. I thought to myself, when I watch Kylian, right? When I watch Mbappe, I think the kid is is generational talent,
Yeah.
right? But
Explosive.
how does that I don't see that in the time he's been there, in the most difficult games where things have come to shove, I've not seen that he has been able to overcome those hurdles, right? So at his age, and I repeat the same thing, at his age, Lionel Messi, Cristiano, Dalima, all the people you put him on at par with, we're doing things, we're winning Champions League titles. He hasn't won one. So where's the premise?
He has won the World Cup. They haven't.
No. I agree.
Hey.
I agree.
That's the biggest.
But in a very good French team.
Yeah.
I don't remember
that's where-
I don't remember a player not named Maradona. Right? That's won the World Cup single-handedly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Not
Only
even
Maradona
not-
and Pele, really.
The French team,
Just
that
those
French
two.
That
team,
French
that
team-
French team wins the World Cup.
You bring them
without Mbappe.
back to this World
Yeah,
Cup
of course.
at the same age they win the World Cup again.
That team wins the World Cup without Mbappe. They win that
No,
World Cup
but
without
they
him.
do.
They win the World Cup without him.
They do.
No, they do without him.
Hold on a second.
Can't say, but
Hold on,
hey,
hold on,
guys,
hold
go on.
on a sec. Hold on a sec. Their most important scorers was not Mbappe.
He wasn't.
You get?
Giroud.
Yeah, but Giroud got some critical goals.
No,
Oh
not
no.
Giroud.
This got the World Cup. Griezmann got some
Griezmann,
critical
Giroud.
goals.
Griezmann.
Right?
Assist though, Giroud,
You know,
definitely.
Giroud has some incredible
Giroud
assists.
Giroud-
Right?
Assist
Giroud,
well.
in terms of
Give them balance.
in terms of functionality, Giroud was more functional in that team than Mbappe. Mbappe scored goals, but Giroud as a team was
Pogba scored goals
constant.
I think that's what
When
affected.
Pogba scored.
I think that's what even affected France at the last Euros.
You know,
the moment
Giroud
Giroud
was-
was taken out and Benzema was brought in.
Giroud was
kind of just
functional.
changed that
He
ship.
was the guy who was connecting the dots.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. With or without Mbappe at the Russia 2018, France win the World Cup.
I think we win the World Cup. It's like when people
Hard,
say,
but I think I
obviously,
should agree
so,
with you.
so
yeah.
obviously when you make comments like that, it is not an easy comment to make. But I agree that in a team like that, it's like you take it back to you go back to the Spanish dominance, right?
Yeah.
Of the 06, the 08 you know, the 08, the 2012, and I think the 2014.
You can't put it on one person.
You can't put it on one person.
You can't say it's because of Xavi or
you
Iniesta.
can't say, you know, Xavi
take
is the
any
one.
of them out, they still win.
They still win the tournament.
Incredible team.
But of course, you know, in reanalyzing all of that, you have to say that every player played their part.
Of course,
you know, Mata played a part as well. You know,
everyone. Cazorla,
David Silva, as less recognized as he is in that Spanish dominance, played an incredible amount of moments in that time. So when people speak about Mbappe, right, at his age, he's won the World Cup, top player, right, best player at the World Cup. I love it, right. But at his age, as far as club football goes, he hasn't done anything that the people who you put him in the same bracket with did at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 19.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it was 19. Fair enough. But Dalima was also a kid when he came into.
won, was it the Ballon d'Or or something at 19?
You know, Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or at what age?
Delima won.
Yeah, I think Michael Owen 20.
Won the Ballon d'Or at 20 or thereabouts.
Yeah,
like 21,
Michael Owen
like
as well.
So,
Yeah.
you know, my problem with football now is I want to talk about recency bias, and maybe it takes me to the next conversation, which is a player and end of season awards, right? Recency bias, and you know, I think we have some of the most brilliant people listening. So if you don't, just look it up. People tend to throw away everything they know and they've been through once a new phenomenon comes in. And in my opinion, right, no idea in the world is new. You can't create new ideas in the world. This is original. Right. Everything is not really is original, right? Everything is a fallout or of something that has existed before. So nowadays you watch football and somebody, a kid like Mbappe comes in and you say, you never seen anything like him before. I'm like, but that's clearly a lie.
Everybody does a lie.
We've seen Henri now.
That is clearly a lie.
We've seen Anelka now.
No, but I think it is. Wale makes a good point. So this is social media age.
No, but the people that make these comments are
on
people
TV.
that are 45, 80, 60 years old.
Yeah, the thing is that those people have read.
Forget easily.
No. Those people now understand what it takes to excite the audience on social media.
Great.
So
Show business.
they know that the audience on social media, the majority of the audience now Gen Z now. So waiting go excite because a lot of these Gen Z really probably haven't seen anything like Kylian Mbappe before, or at least they've not watched it real time. Maybe they saw YouTube videos and all those things, right? So these people understand like if you want to excite this audience, you put it out like this, you put it out the way they want it. So they will start jumping.
Right.
Hi guys, thanks for supporting the Outside Podcast. We really, really appreciate every one of you for always following us on YouTube, of course watching our content, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, as well as TikTok. I really want to appreciate you that we see the good work that you guys do, and we can only wish and pray that you keep supporting us. My name is Falan Adini. Once again, I want to say thank you for everything you do for us. Bye.
Cloud. Reach out.